I got a story I want to tell you. 1945 to 1946, Lionel, 1666. Here it is, all pretty and done up. But I want to tell you the story, what it took to get it going, get it running like it's supposed to. Plus, how about a little bit of history of these particular locomotives? This one here is an 027 version. There's an O version of it also. Didn't know that. There's also pre-war versions of these. Follow along with me, and I'll teach you all about it. I'm Ron with Classic Model Trains. Let's take a little look at this thing here. Sure. Yeah. It ain't got the hitch on the back here. The part's missing. I can't even tow the tender. But I wonder, does it run? That's... Oh. That's pretty good. I was actually doing this earlier and it wasn't doing anything. It's in E units. They get a little crabby. We got to clean her up though and lube it. Who knows when the last time it was lubed? Let's get it over to the table and get inside of it and eyeball it. So here's our 1666. And this is the 027 version of the 224. Now they share the same boiler shell, but the drive is different because you can see these wheels they're bigger than these ones. This one here's been being parted out slowly, bit by bit. And we're gonna take this hitch off the back here shortly also. The 224 is the O gauge version. I hear that usually if it's got 3 numbers, it'll be the O gauge. If it's got 4 numbers, it'll be the 027 gauge. So somebody's jacked all the rods off this, and I thought, well, let's fix this one up. But these rods aren't going to fit these drivers because these are bigger than these. But other than that, everything looks kind of the same, except for this was a lot earlier than this one. So we're going to get into this very first time ever. I've never opened one of these up before. I know we're going to start off with the big boy screwdriver here. I'm going to take this trailing chuck off the back because it's in the way. And it ain't going to work. We got to replace it with something different. So, bye-bye. Strange. Why the hitch would be missing of all things. Here I can see a screw way down inside there that's holding this drive part in. Then we got to deal with all these rods. I want to take this front off, this front pilot. Why? Just because. I just want to clean it. I'm going to take everything apart and we're going to root around inside of it, whether it needs it or not. See, now we know where the light bulb is. Because this one ain't working because I didn't see it. What is going on here? Okay. And that's soldered in there on something. Couple more screws and we will take the front pilot off. Front truck. One here, one here. That's not working out as well as I'd hoped. Okay, something's happening and I'm not even really sure. It slides off and we got to get the hand railings. They're bent right here and they're definitely holding it on. Straighten that one out. See if we can get it to come up. Probably going to need, my larger stuff. Yes, okay, there's those off. This is going to come out. Let's take that out. Is it going to go through? Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, we can clean this up so nice. I'm thinking that we're going to take these eccentrics off. And this would be the main rod right there from the wheel. And then that'll separate all the stuff that's on the body from all the stuff that's on the drive wheels. One bolt that looks like this. This has even got a timing mark in it right there. So is the wheel to set that up. But this is going to remove all the valving from the motor so we can get the motor assembly out and work on it. This one didn't stay together as nicely as the other side did. The spacer came out. Oh, she's flapping in the wind now. Let's take this machine screw out that's down, buried in here. I'm sure that'll be super easy to put back in. Down and around and underneath stuff, and that one right there. Now, oddly enough, the 224, the screw's sitting right up there, which is holding the back of the motor in. I wonder why they had this one come in from underneath. Just to keep us from swapping stuff around. So this shell, are these the same looking? No. Can they be, the screws go to the outside, these heads right here, because I want to scrub it and I want to clean it and I want this to shine, and I don't want something falling off on me when I'm not looking, because it makes it really hard to put it back together. Looks like I can take these out right here, and I can take this out so it doesn't get buggered up, and we can clean it. That screw right there. Let's do the same over here. I've been slinging Mark stuff all day today. I just realized that it's dirty, and I sat down, I started filming, and I probably should have hit the sink up first. I'll do that after I clean this. These guys, we're gonna take them off because I just want to get it all done. Get it all out of there. One more over here. Now I can't see any reason to take these handrails off. We're gonna take this to the sink with some soap, toothbrush, clean it up. Then I'm gonna do my boot polishing, which does an amazing job on bringing these right back around. We're missing the ornamental bell. It would go right there. This one, it's got half of it. This was a 2-piece ornamental bell that came out on this one. It's got the steam whistle. This little fella here is a little more nicked, quite a bit more nicked up. For those of you that want to see the exact same bodies. O gauge, O27, same dang things. Now this part here, it's gorgeous. That doesn't look stock. That E unit was hanging up, just some, because it didn't drive when I just tried driving it, you know, before I filmed it. It didn't want to move at all. And now it's working like it's supposed to. Can we get these out? This is holding our brushes. I'm starting to get a lot of parts out, so we're going to take out the old paint tray. Keep these things cleaned and organized. These are those type of brushes you can't... Oh. We got these screws over here holding the other half of the armature, providing a bushing for the shaft right here. Get that out of there. Get this. Oh, see, now it's dirty under there, like nobody's business. We got some gears. Am I gonna be able to get this out? I'll get it out, but then I won't get it back in. Happened before, because the wheels are in the way. I'm thinking brake parts cleaner. Stand outside and just brake parts clean the heck out of it. That'll get all the grease and all the oil and all the oog out of there. Move this around, and then we can touch it up with a Q-tip. Make sure we got everything out. Spray this reversing unit that's back in here to clean it. Make sure there's nothing in it. What's even holding that in? Nothing. See this? Usually there'd be a couple screws right in there. This thing is loose. It's loose. I can't believe it. Oh, we do. We got one screw holding it. She's right there. Otherwise, that whole thing would just come out. Why? Why would you do that? Why can't I have 4? At least 2. So somebody's been in here. That little guy right there. Yeah, well, it makes it a little bit easier to get in and work on. Actually, it makes it a lot easier to get in and work on. Got our pan to catch the drippings. Brake parts cleaner. Ordinarily, you'd want to use gloves or something like that when you're spraying this. I don't, and that's why I get my hands to look like nasty. It's going to loosen up all this grease that's in there. Roll these around so you can get to the different sides of your... Ow, my eye! Need a toothbrush. Some of this grease has been in there since day one. Down under here. Oh, yeah. You can just feel the whole thing just loosen up. Because all that old grease is getting out of there, and things just roll better. Then finish it up with I'm going to do the odorless mineral spirits. Everyone, we kind of go through the same technique. I just want to clean up everywhere that I've already been. Can we clean these up? Can we shine these anymore? What can we do with the side of the wheels right here? These are nickel rimmed. I mean, they're supposed to be just gorgeous. So we're going to go through, we're going to clean all this up. If we have to get the Dremel out with the little wires, this is a little wheel to buff it more. We'll try that out. I'll see what works good. It's like there's some weird pitting going on right over here. Armature definitely looks clean, shiny to me. Absolutely. Can we get down in here? This also helps get all the brake parts cleaner residue off. It's really dry stuff out, although it evaporates really quickly. I'm gonna go through and clean up all the rods, and we're gonna brush all the body parts. We're going to make it all really pretty and start reassembling it all. Yep. Well, I've been sitting here I want to scrub these wheels up here, these rims, and make them shiny. And then I go to turn it, and then the armature, because it's just flopping around in here, keeps hanging up and creating havoc. So we got to clean these things up. I used the old mineral spirits over on this side and cleaned up all the hard grease that was on it. And over here, the brushes, take your little feller here and you strip most of it off, get it in the old mineral spirits, and then you can get it to fit in here to clean out these brushes, this area where these brushes are going to ride at. They need to be clean because grease is bad on your brushes. See that? Oh my goodness. Yes, ish. Resistance. We don't want any resistance in this area here. Now this feller sat over here. I don't know, do we want to grease it or do we want to oil it? Super lube. Maybe we'll use this because this will stay in place better. Just some on the end here. And we're going to put it right in here. Probably all fell out. Yeah, probably oil. Yeah, what do you do? Yeah, it was these ones. So 1 and 2 back in. And over on this side, we got to get the brushes in the thing here. And uh-oh, now we got problems. So we got to figure out where that's soldered to. More than likely, I don't know, right there. To look up the wiring schematic. That's a problem with these when you bend them around too much. What are my chances? Put a spring in. Put a brush in. Pick this guy up. Do the sideways. I'd say that'd be pretty good. These larger ones over here, then use a real size screwdriver to make sure that they're tight. Can't really grease this one, so we'll just give it a little taste. Maybe we'll back this one up because I don't think that grease did us much good. Just some. Now I can go back to try to make these shiny. I did this, and it's coming by. Real careful like. Gotta get like the rust off. I want them to shine. And of course the wheels gotta be clean. So we can catch all these years of crud collecting in there. But the pitting it doesn't do much for. So I might have to polish. I'm gonna try to remove the rust, and then I'm gonna try to polish them. Future me might come back and have a completely different story to tell. Let's see if I can get them to really go. These little fellers here suck because they're fragile and you don't want to hook nothing on them. But you want to get the dang rust off so we can put something else on it, wax them, I don't know, polish something. But oh, it's tedious. They were chrome plated at one time, and then 50 years happened. I used to be shiny too. So be careful if you're doing this. Gentle. My speed is only like 4 because it doesn't need to be wound up tight to use. Then you got 4 sides. Front, back, top, bottom, tedious. It'll be worth it though, I'm hoping. Imagine the guy that sat around and built these all day long. Holy moly. This particular locomotive's got a great history to it. I sat down, pulled out some books, did some reading, and here's what we found out. 1938 is where this locomotive shell begins. Lionel modeled it after the New York City's Hudson J1 locomotive. Lionel intended for it to be a scale-detailed locomotive. Now, Lionel loved to do this thing called selective compression. They take things and make them shorter, and then try to pass it off as a scale-size locomotive, a full-size locomotive, but it was smaller than the prototype. I don't know, they just did it. For the pre-war years, 1938 to 41, Lionel offered this 224 as a O-scale, true O-scale 1/48 locomotive. And 38 to 1942, the pre-war eras, it offered the 1666 or 1666E as the O27 option. Now here's something important to bring up. Gauge and scale. These are O gauge. That's the width of the track. But the scale, a true O scale should be 1/48 in size. Proportionate. And the O27 stuff is compressed even more. It's more closer to, so what are we at? 150, 56? I don't know, it's just a guess. But O27 is never the same size as the O stuff. Even though the gauge is the same, the scale is smaller. The 027 diameter of track, the 027 means that it's a 27-inch circle of track. And they acquired that size or gauge when they purchased Ives back in 1927. Second World War broke out. Somebody got in a big uproar over there across the pond, and we had to jump in eventually because they messed with us. And Lionel went into producing things for the military, primarily the U.S. Navy, making things like compasses, something called a binnacle. I don't know. It's a navigation thing, I guess, by looking at it. Lifeboat lanterns. Never thought that was a deal, but yeah, I guess that's kind of important to have a little light out there at the nighttime. Speed keys, telegraph keys, they did all kinds of stuff. After the war ended, 1945, the very first locomotive to come off of the assembly line at the Lionel factory was the 224. And it remained in their lineup until 1946. We got 3 years of pre-war production and 2 years of post-war production, making these only available for a total of 5 years. In 1946, they brought back the 1666 for the 027 category. Lionel classified these 262 locomotives as a prairie-type steam locomotive, and it had a lot of the Lionel's mid-grade features. Stuff. They had like nicer things on them. Now the boiler castings are the same for all of these pre-war, post-war, whether they're O or 027. Going back to the fact that it had 3 numbers, typically means it's an O, and if it's got 4 numbers for the cab number, then it typically means that it's an 027. I could be wrong. I'm just saying that this is what I found out so far. Now the biggest difference, well, there's, from me doing research, and the fact that I also had a 224 and a 1666 here, you've already seen some of the differences. 224's wheels were bigger. The motor part, the trailing truck, had larger wheels than the 027, the 1666. They say the easiest way to tell is that the 027 stuff has slider electrical pickups, and the O-gauge stuff has got roller pickups. And sure enough, I looked at mine, and there's a difference. Yeah, and different nameplates and stuff. But Lionel also produced in the pre-war era a 229 or a 229E. That's the O-gauge version. And a 1664 or a 1664E would be the 027 version. Pre-war, these were the 242s. Used the exact same boiler shell. Unfortunately, these ones never came back for post-war production. Some of the fancy things these guys had on them, had the valve gearing, had the eccentric cranks, all that extra stuff to make it look really, neat. Had nickel-rimmed spoke driving wheels on it, instead of just the boring black ones. Die-cast lead and trailing trucks instead of just the metal stamped tin ones. 3-position E units, I guess that's a high-end feature. I guess we're not old enough to know that. Everyone I've ever had always had them on there. Headlight that illuminated. Yeah, okay. So they want to call these a high-grade one. Had an ornamental bell though. 3-piece. It moved back and forth. These ones don't. They broke off, but it did come that way from the factory. And then, of course, it has the little whistle up on the top of it. That's what makes these a mid-grade locomotive. Not a high one, but a mid-grade one. Let's get back into this and see how it's coming along. Well, these brushes here, this wire broke loose. One of the wires always goes to the top of the E unit up here, single connection. 3-wire, oh, it's like having a tooth fall out when you're talking. Goodness. And I can see that there's a wire broken off right there. And these things don't have specific wiring diagrams. You can look up a generic Lionel E-unit wiring diagram and pretty much come up with them all. So I took this and I trimmed a little bit of this cloth off the end. We're going to get in there. I want to tin this just a little bit. So can we warm that up and push this new fresh one in and have everybody be happy? Okay, I pushed the old one out. And I'm really hoping that it didn't just fall into the E-unit and it's going to rattle around and cause some havoc. You can really see the drum right here. This finger comes down, grabs that, and then when it energizes, it rotates it. That's that click, click sound. It's got to be clean. All these fingers. And the best way to do it is with one of these fiberglass pencils. There's a solid one on the outside, and then the finger comes in right there. So these have all got to be clean. If you want a good performance, clean it up. Here you can see 2 fingers sitting right there, right there. And the other fingers are coming in on the backside of the drum right through there. So there's 6 connections being made and broken on one of these E-unit drums. Oh, that one, is that drum loose in there? Sure acted like it. Huh. that made me a little nervous. Was I getting too tough with it? Because it's just got one little tit here and one little tit over here. Okay, so squeeze this more. Oh, golly. Just trying to clean it out, and if that drum falls out, whew, you got your work cut out for you then when you're trying to put it back in. This thing was in really bad shape. And they say don't use any chemicals in these things. That's what the boys tell me. The boys that have been doing this a long time. No oil, no nothing. So I notice that whenever I oil them, especially this plunger rod right here, then this plunger takes a little while to drop because of the little bit of oil that's on it. And then it just no. So they just say, leave them. Clean them, no chemicals. Now, why they always give us 1,400 miles of wires, and I've got to put all this back in now. I think it was sitting in there like this. And I had one screw holding it in. Where did he go? Was it this one? I'm gonna see if I can scare up at least one more of those. I got an interesting predicament. Let me get this. This isn't on, but the drum that's in there, see how the pin is out. I put the pin in and it works for about one rotation and then it doesn't work again. So that's probably why it arrived at my place, because it's broken. So I put that drum in twice already and it's not doing what it's supposed to do. Oh, did you see that? Arcing and sparking. This thing needs a new E-unit. Where am I gonna get one of those at? On a Friday night at 8:30. Dang it. Well, the old 224's been donating everything to us already. Let's see if it's got an E-unit to donate. Take that screw out of the top there. What's going on now? Oh, we got these ones right up along over here. Well, is it gonna come out with the good? Oh my, jeez. Wow. That went all the way through. Look at that monster. I wonder if this one runs. We should see. I just wonder. Oh, now, see, it just seems kind of sacrilege. The unit's stuck, but man, it's sure trying. Oh. Not the fastest thing, but that E-unit works. It's only got one screw in it too. Well, I'm gonna see if I can pop that out real quick. Unsolder everything, see what we got. Drew a quick little road map before I took this out. Just, you know, the way this was sitting in there. So you see my excellent drawing of it right here. That's the reverse lockout lever, okay? And then the yellow wires going to the brushes. And then the bottom one right here comes in right here. Roller pickups, it's going to the side of it right there. And then the electromagnet for the motors coming off of this one right here. So there it is. Here's this chassis waiting for me to order up units and fix it again. So all I gotta do is remove this stuff out of this one. And it looks like it's just easier to take it off at the brushes than it is to mess around trying to take it off at the E-unit. Warm these up, pop them out. This is going to our electromagnet right here. Right here, pull it apart again. So this is the ick one with the broken drum in it. You can order just drums too. Then you got to spread this out to get those in there, and whoo, does that make it hard. Here's a shot at that new one, and you can see how bad the contacts are corroded up and they're just got grease and filth on them. So we gotta clean this one again. Go through there because they gotta be pretty and shiny. I'll probably just brake parts clean it. That didn't do much. Brake parts cleaner didn't do much. And then I used this stuff too. And that didn't do much. It's got really bad grease on it, is what I'm trying to say. So we got to keep scrubbing it. Probably do the mineral spirits, Q-tips, scrub on that, then fiberglass pencil it again. I got some of these here tactical Q-tips, and you can get in there and scrub with the mineral spirits. It's the only thing I seem to see that's working. Here's a really gross area. Maybe I was a little hard on that first one. I don't know. Maybe it was almost broken. That drum. So we'll try it again. Maybe the fiberglass pencil wasn't the thing to do. I didn't even really know these things could get that dirty. I mean, you gotta really scrub. And this whole thing has been brake parts cleaned already. Like this scub is just coming off on these. Yeah, no wonder the thing moved so slow. So I'm gonna get this all clean and then get her soldered in. We'll try it again, see if the motor's gonna work. I got a phone call here a couple weeks ago. This guy gets a hold of me. Says, hey, we're gonna happen to be down in your neck of the woods and we want to stop in and visit you. Is that okay? I'm like, sure, that's great. And then as time goes by, we're chatting. He goes, oh, we're coming down from Canada and and I'm like, yeah. So here he is, Calvin Ruff comes down from Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. And I'm like, so where are you going? What brings you all the way? You're gonna go to the... And he goes, we came all the way down here just to come and see you.
This is my Graceland, sir.
Correct. I'm just like, holy moly, who does that? Well, one guy did. Lynn McCurdy did. He drove a long time to come and see me. He was quite the chatter, and then we put him in front of the camera, and then he just clammed right up.
Just letting him do his thing.
He belongs to a model club. What's the name of your model club up there?
So I belong to the Southern Alberta Model Railroad Club, which is just a large club there that we have in Lethbridge. I don't even know how many members we have. Probably somewhere 30, 40 members.
You know, if you'd show up to the club more often, you'd know how many members.
That's correct. That's correct. I started mine.
Your layout?
Yeah.
Same one?
No, I'm on number 5. I have my original stuff still there.
So you were modeling before you met your wife, and
oh yeah, correct.
Because it's usually kind of hard to land a lady if you're a model railroader. I don't know if you know.
You have to hide that.
Oh, had the secrets and stuff.
You bring that out later. Don't ever say that up front.
Should write that down. Yeah, some of the single guys out there.
Yeah. Don't ever start with that.
So you're saying I shouldn't go to the bar dressed up like this? Well, I got a gal, but you know.
Oh, then you're all right.
I'm good.
That's good. Yeah.
She let me out of the house like this.
Exactly. The place here looks much larger than I thought it would be. Much larger.
That's what a lot of people say.
Yeah, and you can't touch either side at the same time.
You can't. No, it's bigger than that. So
absolutely, absolutely. No, surprisingly large layout. Very large.
It's the camera. It's not lying.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, when I told him before he got here, I go, no, it looks a lot different than in real life when you get here. It's not as colorful and pretty, and a lot of people walk in there like, it's movie magic.
It is movie magic.
We probably yucked it up for a good hour and a half. He brought some donations down for the channel, and then he also stopped by and bought some stuff out of the for sale retail space that we got now in the fifth wheel. So it was just a great fun time had by all. It's always fun meeting the fans out there, talking to them on the phone, and meeting them in person. We got it stopped right now. How about if we do the Classic Model Trains Classic Model of the Week? Do you guys know who this one is right here? If you do, put it in the comments down below. If you don't, wait until the end and I'll let you know who she is. Let's get back into it and see how good this thing is going to run. Is it going to give me the performance that I desire? Oh. Man. Yes, it is. So these have got axle bushings way down inside there. What I want to do is I want to come in at them on an angle like this, get down in here and throw a little oil on them so that it can run down from the inside into the bushing. Front one's easy enough because I can really see the axle right there. Rear one will probably be the same. Yeah, you can just come right in here, but the center one's a little tougher. I guess you're just kind of shooting in the dark. I want that oil to roll in there. We got a lot of gears over here, and I want to use the super lube on them because it's going to stay in place. It ain't going to spray all over, but this is going to take a while because we need to put some on, and then we need to roll the wheel, and then we need to put some on, and then we need to roll the wheel because it kind of spreads itself out. I don't want any on the traction surface of the wheels. I don't want too much goob on my thing here. We got the primary reduction, we got the secondary reduction. The wheels, of course, being the secondary portion. And we're just going to keep doing this. And I want it all over the place. And the gears will start to shine just a little bit, a little sheen. That's when you know you've got just about enough on there. But at least this won't drip all over the track and get could throw it up all over the shell. Well, it could. Here's 2 butts right there. Here's one of our primary gears right here that's not getting anything yet. Right inside. Let's go in the opposite direction, throw me off. Then we've got this one. Little taste of oil right here. I think I'm quite happy with that. I guess I'll wash my hands before I put the shell on, so I don't got to clean all the grease from my greasy hands off the shell. Here's what a shell looks like, and it's just dull. Icky, dull. What can I do? Can I do anything with just this brush? Now we don't want it, of course we don't want it shiny, but yeah, I want it at least to be all one color. So I'm gonna keep working it with this, and we're gonna make it just look like it ain't death warmed over. Of course, taking it apart, putting it back together, it's always 2 different things. I see that it's got, right on the ground. This area here is gonna go right in here. That's what holds the front of the locomotive up. So we put the headlight through here. This is gonna end up being bolted in here. This is gonna sit in here. Then we put a bolt in back there. So I gotta get my bolts that held the front pilot on. Cow catcher, this thing. That one in, this one in. Those 2 holding the pilot. Single one like this. It's gonna go in the very back to hold the back of the powered motor, the truck assembly in. And it's buried deep down inside there. I put some of this stuff on it. You know, that it looks kind of like that sheepskin on all the chrome. So I can try to get it to shine. We've got these. They're gonna go in like this, but we gotta have a side rod on it. And we're gonna put the rusty side out. So we're gonna go like this, here. This is gonna go there. That's gonna go down there. This will end up going there. Gotta put a bolt in there. And then these guys that I got wax all over also. They were up in there, so I bet you these gotta go on first. Because that's gonna go in there. That's gonna come around there. We're gonna have these special bolts like that. If I got the right side and the left side figured out, one of these, we're gonna come around right in there, push it down, screw it in. I'm in my happy place. I'm in my happy place. Like that, the spacer, connecting rod, spacer, main rod. This thing, down through the center. One of these, with the Phillips on the end. Down through all this. Eccentric, this crank right here's got, it'll lock in. It's timed. There, see, now it won't rotate anymore. That screw's not tight, but I can't rotate that because the way that it is. Man, is that pretty. Lots of action going on. We'll do the same to the other side, but I'll do that off camera so we don't bore you. Oh, here's that eccentric right there. You can see how there's a line in right there. And there's teeth right here. So those teeth line up, and that's what makes it time. These guys and this right there. So now we got all the rods and stuff on. It's a lot easier on this stuff than it is HO. Let me tell you, fellers. Plus the stuff was bent, and I was able to straighten it out, and it didn't break. And that was nice. Oh, I put this on backwards. Dang it, I was wondering what was happening. Because the gap between here and here, and this one's completely different. I think I got them on the wrong side. I'm gonna have to look at the video. I think that maybe the nut, yeah, that nut is probably supposed to be on the outside. So I get to switch those around. That's fine. That happens. We'll do that later, off camera. Now here's the trailing truck that I drug off of the 224, and you can see that it's got a tow hook, and this one doesn't. Something happened somewhere at some time. But if you really look at it, you can see that these wheels are larger in diameter than these wheels, because this is an O and this is an 027. I want to get these wheels out. Right here's the bottom of the bearing, right here. What is it doing? Is it wrapped around here? Maybe it's on this side. There, yeah. Okay, how about these ones? What do we got to do with these? Because they got to be completely different. These ones look like they just pull out. You just grab it and pull is what it looks like. Looks can be deceiving. It's got latches up over here. We got to get the latch down. Same with you over here, down. Interesting. So these wheels out, these little wheels in. Latch, back down, and then we're gonna squeeze it shut up here. And there's our trailing truck. And maybe, hopefully, we put this through there, do this, put a couple screws in back there, and we're gonna have this all situated. So we're gonna throw a screw in there, and I'm gonna switch these rods around, and then we'll get the front light bulb in and almost be done with this. Found a bulb. It's not the ones that all the lists say. I had to use a number 50. The one that the 1666 takes, it's a completely different bulb. And the 224, I can't find it on my list, which of course doesn't, make sense to me. I guess we got the wrong one. It'll just burn out real fast. This is up in there. A couple more screws. We should be done with this. Well, we gotta oil it. We gotta oil the rods. Dumpster, the puppy dog, just got skunked. She come running in here all happy. Yay. Whenever something happens to her, she comes running up, all excited, stinking. It's 10 o'clock right now. Little lady's at work. We're not gonna be able to get anything to clean off the skunk smells till tomorrow. So we're gonna do, leave the dog outside all night, I guess. Oil it here. And then we got everything here. If it moves, give it a taste. All this. Here. A little bit under here. Do the same on the other side. Roll the stuff around some. Little slick on the bottom of these. Same with the tops, I guess. But they got all these extra features. It takes extra time. One more to get the fingerprints off. Let's get a tender for it. This tender has got a lot of ick on it. It is disgusting. I already soap and watered it. That didn't pull that ick off. So I'm going back to my mineral spirits and some bazooka swabs here, I guess. And just see if I can get whatever that ick is. I can't get it to shine. It's like the sticky stuff on your steering wheel, How you just can't ever get it to come off. This is black molded plastic with heat stamped Lionel lines on it. I'm not too worried about stripping the, oh, my tactical swab broke. I'm gonna try this on it to try to get it to clean up. That stuff's shiny. Am I weird that way? I don't know, but it's definitely getting some ick off. Okay, this will evaporate. Then we'll see what we got after it's all said and done. We've almost got her done, but we've got to get some jewels up in there. And I've got these that I got at the Hobby Lobby. Little buggers. They're plastic or something like that. And I think I'm going to try to glue them in there. So that way it's complete up on the front here. Yeah, that's exactly what I was hoping for right there. A little bit of CA, hold them right in. Let's get her up on the track, see how she runs. I have to say, it's pretty much everything I ever hoped for. I think that bulb I got in there must be like a 6 water, because this thing is barely cracked open and she's just a glowing. Wish it was a smoker. Amazing slow speed, you know, for Lionel. Wish I had a bigger track set up, but I don't. This is all I got. This is my test track here. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It did look like it had just a little bit of a hitch in its giddy right there. The cab back end kind of, and I had that slow motion shot. I picked that up. I wonder what the heck could possibly be doing at around wheels, I guess. These Lionel, and I do a 3-rail video, it just goes on and on and on and on. We've been sitting here for quite some time. I should put intermissions in these or something like that. I was researching this before we got going. This is one of the for sale locomotives that I had from last week's video. There's about 8 of them in there, and I've never tested most of them. So I figured, well, we'll make videos of them. Now it's all detailed up. I figured, well, I want to sell this, but what's it worth? So you go on the eBay and you look in the sold items, and these things have got prices all over the board. Cheapy ones like this, and to really expensive ones like this here. I was really surprised at how these don't bring in that much money, considering what they are in you know, there's only 5 years of them. They've got pre-war, post-war ties. Just amazing. This one here, I don't have the correct whistling tender for, and that tender's not in the right shape. Those of you with the sharp eyes, notice it's got a truck that doesn't match the other truck. It's all we had for that particular tender that it's supposed to have. That's the non-whistling version of it, because I don't have a whistling tender. It just kind of showed up. But I guess we'll put it, I'll get the right tender for it, or at least the right truck for that non-whistling tender, and see if we can blow it out the door and make $75 off of it, $65. I don't know. What's it worth? Maybe I should put it on eBay. I don't know. Our model of the week was sent in from a viewer, because sometimes I run out of ideas. That's Julie Newmar. She was the Catwoman in the original Batman TV series. Yeah, for those of you that go, I almost got it. I can't figure it out. I've had a great 3 days filming this, meeting Calvin and his family, talking to guys selling out the trains that we've been blowing out the door. It's been a good week so far. Here in America, our election cycle is almost done. That means you won't get 2,700 commercials while you've been sitting around watching videos anymore. So I'm going to get out of here. I'm Ron with Classic Model Trains. Thanks to all the 33 percenters who stuck it out with me. And thank you to all of my channel members that are out there. Bye-bye.